And you can see if we go under databases and I go under security and we go into logins, we can see that we have in fact added Donnie the cook for recipes, and or that we have added these logins: Dave, Donnie, Gina, and Mavis. So that's their security logins. And then if we look at the individual databases, we can go here to the bowling league, again under security. This time we go under the users, and we can see that for the bowling league, we added Mavis and Dave. We did not add Gina or Donnie, but if I scroll down to the recipes database and look at the users table there, we can see that Donnie and Gina exist here. Okay. And then as far as granting schema rights, what we did is I gave each of them a set of a schema right. For instance, for Mavis, I gave her access to the bowling league places schema. For Dave, it was the bowling league people schema. Gina got access to recipes ingredients, and Donnie got access to the instructions. Now that can be best seen by logging into each of their accounts, looking at the databases that they have access to. You can see that, for instance, Gina doesn't have access to the bowling database. But what we were talking about was I've limited Gina to the ingredients lists. And then if you look at, for instance, Donnie, again, has access to the recipes, but has only access to the instructions schema tables. The same would be for Dave and Mavis. There we go. Dave and Mavis. So that would be how we grant the schema rights. For question number 3, what we were asked to do was to, example of the bowling league, we would go in and create a role of personnel. Then I would assign the schema people to the personnel group, to the personnel role. And in that I would grant insert and select to each of, to the personnel group, so that it would go to the people that are in that group. So they would have access to the people schemas. For the recipes group, there's a group for ordering and a group for cooking. So those were the scripts that I ran to create those 4 roles. And then to create 2 new people, Ming and Darcy, one for the recipes database and one for the bowlers database. Basically, this would be a login creation for this person. It would start off with the master account and, of course, the create the login information. Then we would switch to, in Darcy's case, the bowling league. Then I would create the user for her, and then I would alter her role to the scheduling role that we just created by adding her as a member. And the same thing for Ming. Basically, it's the same steps, only for the recipe example, and adding him to the cooking role. And go in, and this is Ming. We can see that Ming was assigned automatically the instructions stuff, as well as being able to run those reports. So, and the same for Darcy. All right, the last question was a little bit more interesting. Basically, it was investigate the security-related data dictionaries that you can see for new schemas, logins, users, the role assignment, whatever it is that you found. And so I found a couple of things that would be interesting or helpful to me. For instance, if I run this first script, what this allows me to do is it allows me to see who I have added as users into the Bowling League database. And I capped it at January 1st, just that way I wasn't looking at old information. I was just looking at just stuff that I had entered in. So this shows me that I created Dave, the Lane Keeper's user account, Mavis's user account, Darcy's user account, as well as creating 2 database roles for personnel and scheduling. I can do the exact same report for the recipes database. And again, it shows me that I created these 5 pieces of information in that database. And then the last thing that was good is that overall, I can take a look at this particular script where I run it on the master and look at the SQL logins. And again, I can see anybody that I created between January 1st and today. So I thought that those would be useful to help me to see what I'm doing in these databases. That's everything I have for this week. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next week.